So basically, when coming to this Matplotlib, I'm just giving you the introduction today. One of the most popular package for doing data visualization. And this is one of the cross-platform library for making two-dimensional plots from data. That is in good amount of arrays also. So it provides good amount of object-oriented APIs that helps in embedding all different styles of plots, applications using Python, this graphical user toolkit. And one thing you remember when coming to the Matplotlib can handle any kind of plots like line plot, histogram, scatter plot, bar chart, violin plot, pie chart, area plot, whatnot. Any kind of interactive visualizations or static visualizations can be done using this particular thing so called Matplotlib. And another thing I tell you, so it's one of the very popular library for data analysis, scientific computing, machine learning, because what happens when we are working on with Matplotlib is it's basically it provides fine grained control over the plots. Any kind of a plot we can do. It can be a line plot, it can be a scatter plot, it can be a bar chart, it can be a histogram, it can be a pie chart, it can be a box plot, whatnot. And here, generally in Matplotlib, we are having two different plotting styles. So, Matplotlib overlays basically two APIs. One is object-oriented API, other one is the PyPlot API. So the PyPlot API is basically used to make plot using matplotlib.pyplot. So matplotlib, pyplot is the sublibrary, I can say. But when coming to the object-oriented API, basically it assembles with greater flexibility than matplotlib. Anything which it provides the direct access to Matplotlib. It provides the access at the backend layers, not at the front end layers. So Matplotlib basically simplifies the tasks that we consider from the data and enables the complex tasks in a very simpler way. So you can customize figures, you can create interactive figures, you can visualize them, you can manipulate the data as per your need. You can export those files to different file formats also. So not only that you can create multiple plots using Matplotlib, you can add titles, you can add labels, you can add legends, you can add grids. You can do customizations of the markers, line styles, and figure size also. You can save the graphs in PNG format or JPG format or PDF format as if you want. So basically, Matplotlib is the library. In that, PyPlot is the module which is used for creating plots. In that, generally, rather than you calling Matplotlib all the time, you can just give an alias name. So, what are the applications which we would be using in Matplotlib? So, the most common applications which we would be using in using this Matplotlib is first one is data visualizations because many scientific researchers, analyst, data analysts, machine learning applications use Matplotlib to visualize the data. Without you visualizing the data, you can't understand what it is because the data always you would be getting in tons and tons of data you would be getting. By looking at the file, you can't understand how the data looks alike. But when you plot the data, what happens is it will be having a clear-cut knowledge on how the data is going, whether it is in the ascending pattern or whether it is in the descending pattern. So, all those things will be very much apt and clear when you actually have a clear cut visualization plot, or I can say whenever we have a plot. Suppose I say I have some 10,000 records. The 10,000 records are in this pattern. So when you look at the data, you can see that this is the minimum value, this is the maximum value. In that way, you can like correlate things in a very easy way when you actually have the graphical representation. Without a graph, you can't do anything. Only when you have the graphical representation, you can understand. You can visualize the experimental data. You can find the simulations. You can do statistical analysis on the data. You can improve data comprehensions and communicate in a very nice way for the researchers. So all this can be done in scientific researches. Not only this, Matplotlib helps the engineers to visualize the sensor recordings, design patterns in engineering. It can excel any of the graphical things in mechanical, civil, aeronautical, or electrical engineering also. Not only that, we can visualize using Matplotlib. Even you can visualize the finance related tasks like stock prices, market trends, portfolio performance, risk assessment. All these things also can be done very nicely using Matplotlib. So what it helps the analysts or the trade markers to make decision by visualizing the complicated financial data in simple graphical terminologies. Not only that, even in biology and bioinformatics also we can see good amount of visualized graphs like DNA sequences, protein structures, pathogenical trees, or gene expression patterns. All this can be done by bioinformaticians or the biologists. Even climate data, GIS data, satellite images, maps, all this can be visualized geographically for doing geospatial analysis. You can generate interactive maps, you can plot geographical characters, you can overlay data with spatial analysis. All these things also can be done. And even today, educational institutions use Matplotlib to teach data visualization for the students, to teach programming for the students. So it's very easy to use visualization interface, which is very much suited for the high school, university students, and the teachers also. Web development also can be done very easily using Flask, Django, Plotly. So you can incorporate Matplotlib into this online apps. It lets the developer build dynamically. Interactive visualizations can be done for web pages and dashboards also. Even the previously I was talking about machine learning intuitions can be done very nicely, right? Machine learning projects, you can visualize data distributions, model performance using metrics, decision boundaries can be done. Training progress with Matplotlib would be easier because you can analyze the algorithm behavior and troubleshoot the model building concerns very easily using Matplotlib. And Matplotlib is something that creates high quality figures for doing good amount of scientific research, reports, presentations, and posters. Any of these things can be done very much easily and very much aptly using this Matplotlib. And Matplotlib is one of the comprehensive library that actually creates static and animated, and not only that, interactive visualizations in Python. No other package creates the interactive visualizations this perfectly apart from Matplotlib. That is the reason Matplotlib is having a very good Python ecosystem for plotting good amount of data. So plotting capabilities of Matplotlib are basically we can use this for any kind of graph. It's not only one. And the quality of the graphs is also like including colors, line styles, markers, fonts, annotations. Any, like you can increase the quality in such a way we can have the complete control on every aspect of the plot. And Matplotlib actually works with NumPy and Pandas to visualize arrays, data frames, and other data structures also. And it do have very cross-platform compatibility. You can work with Windows, you can work with Linux, you can work with Mac. It can be accessible to multiple different people. And basically, this Matplotlib is originated from the library of, like, with earlier goals of MATLAB. MATLAB's graphical commands are very much used over here. And Matplotlib is independent of MATLAB and can be used in a Pythonic and object-oriented manner. MATLAB is not Pythonic, but Matplotlib is Pythonic because MATLAB is basically MathWorks visualization tool, and Matplotlib is basically the library of Python. So there is good amount of difference, though it has the earlier goal of getting all the references from MATLAB. This is completely into the Pythonic related part. And the advantages of this Matplotlib is you can have efficient data access, you can handle robust data, you can create quality plots, you can support multiple outputs. It also provides graphical user interfaces. It is having flexible data representation, advanced visualization capabilities were there, open source in nature. It's not like you have to work on with any of the other thing. It's completely open source, and it do have friendly interface and powerful tools, and it provides high quality images also. No other package have this good amount of high quality images, but Matplotlib is something which provides us a high quality images. And it is used in various fields like data science, finance, engineering, research. Particularly, as we are talking about AI and data science, it is used within these industries for doing good amount of flexible, and it is capable of handling complex data visualization tasks also. And today, people are making it very popular choice among the individuals who can work with the data using the Matplotlib. The first visualization package which you want is Matplotlib only. And Matplotlib was originally written by John D. Hunter, a neurobiologist. Why he have done this is basically initially his goal is for emulating Matplot capabilities to work with EEG data. But then on, as it is having a very good development community and all, it is distributed under a BSD license. So there are two main approaches over here in Matplotlib, as I was talking about. One is PyPlot approach and other one is object-oriented approach. PyPlot approach is completely implicit or functional interface. But whereas when coming to the object-oriented, it is called as an explicit and access interface. So here we would be working everything in the PyPlot interface or the Matplotlib object-oriented interface. So how do we work on with this particular thing so-called Matplotlib? So when you are working on with Matplotlib, as I was talking about, you have to work on with the data using this pandas and numpys. First, you should import pandas as PD, import numpy as np, and import matplotlib dot pyplot. As rather than we calling matplotlib dot pyplot all the time, we say plt. It takes some time for you to execute. Excuse me. So here, when we are working on with this, so matplotlib is commonly used with numpy, numpy for numerical calculations, pandas is for data manipulation, Matplotlib is for complete data visualization, and Seaborn. Seaborn is for advanced statistical visualization. On top of Matplotlib, we would be using Seaborn. So each and everything has its own insight. So a typical data science workflow for Matplotlib is basically data to analysis, and from analysis to visualization, and from visualization to insights. And here, PyPlot is basically a module used to create plots. So how do you plot the data? Suppose I consider x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y is equal to 10, 20, 30, 15, 25. PLT dot plot x, y. PLT dot show. You can see this. The data got plotted. When I say plot, by default, it's a line plot. When I say in place of plot, I just give scatter. It's a scatter plot. By default, color is that particular thing, the blue shade. Suppose if I wanted to give some x-axis names and y-axis names. See, here, x and y are basically the data. I wanted to create a plot, plt dot scatter. Scatter is basically one style of plot using x, y. Now, I wanted to add labels and title. So I say I wanted to add the label so-called plt dot x label. What I wanted to give the x label, x-axis. Similarly, I wanted to give y label, y-axis. PLT dot title. For the complete title of the graph, I give simple scatter plot. So you get the x-axis name, y-axis name, and you get the title name as simple scatter plot. So you can give the names also to the axes. Got it? So any kind of a plots we can do very easily using Matplotlib. So here, multiple different styles of lines also we have. So how do you work on with all those different styles of lines, and how do you work on with what are the different colors we have by default and all? is something which we would be checking. Suppose I say, first let us talk about markers. Comma, marker is equal to, suppose I say, point. A small point will be coming. Suppose if I say, comma, it's a pixel marker. Comma, even though it's a pixel marker, it's like you are getting as a square. O, round. When I say V, down, triangle, peak at down. Right, peak on the right. Left, peak on the left. Cap, peak on the top. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 also. It's basically a small kind of a flower kind of a thing. The flower keeps rotating with the number. S for square. D for diamond shape. Capital D, it's a diamond shape with square. P for pentagon. H, capital H for hexagon. The sides you would be having like this. If you keep small h, the sides will be like this. And star, you get the star notation. Plus, you get the plus notation. X, you get into notation. Capital X, bold X. And you have underscore. Pipeline, horizontal line. Hyphen. You are not getting hyphen, got removed, I guess. So these are around 21 different markers that we have in Matplotlib. 21 different styles of notations that we can give. So rather than just keeping the marker like that, once you just say plot, rather than keeping all this marker is equal to and all, you can say you get a dash dash line. Dash dash with square. Dashed line with square notation. Solid line with square notation. Dash dot line with square notation. Hmm. And we are having multiple different things also, and we can just draw legends, all these things. Even for this, you can just give a legend also. What is a legend? Legend is basically giving a notation on the data. Suppose I say line, comma, is equal to plt dot plot x comma y, comma, I give label is equal to legend of the line. So legend is basically the line description, I can say. Then I say plt dot legend plot show. You can see legend of the line. That means the line representation is basically the legend is something which it tells. In this way, if you want the notation, even the notation also can be given. And if you wanted to change the legend position also, that can be done. We will see that little later. But this is what a legend is. And if you want grids to be given, even the grids also can be considered. How do you consider the grids for the graph? Suppose I say the same thing. If I just add plt dot grid, you can get the grids lines at the back end, background lines. So you can just add lines at the background. You can have a name for the line. If you have multiple lines, each and every line have a different name. Even that can be considered. So multiple different styles and multiple different graphs can be generated over here. But today we are just looking at the introductory part. I'm just showing you the line and I'm just showing you the scatter, nothing much. But generally, we can just draw multiple different lines considering the data in multiple different styles also can be. I'll just show you a different way of considering the data rather than the numerical part. Suppose I say, rather than me considering x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, what I do, x is equal to np dot line space. 0, comma 20, I wanted to consider some 200 values of it. Y is equal to whatever values of x were there. For those values, I wanted to consider the sign of those x values. So plt dot figure. I wanted to give the figure size is equal to 8, comma 3.5. 3.5. plt dot plot x comma y comma label of that particular graph is basically sine curve. So I say plt dot x label, y label, plt dot x label x axis, y label y axis, title, I wanted to give legend and grid. All together gets plotted over here with a simple sine plot. Here my x and y values are, I am considering it like this, using the lines place and values.
What is figure here?
That's a blank canvas. Whenever we are just giving this particular thing, x and y axis, the figure size, when you want it to set, you have to plot it using the figure, wherein which you set the blank canvas like this. The figure size is 8 in length and 3.5 in width. In that, the plot will be plotted.
Okay.
Clear? See, I'm just giving you the introductory part because we are having multiple different graphs: bar h, plot, hist, pie, plot, polar. Polar plots were also there: scatter plot, stack plot, stem plot, step plot, quiver plot. All these are some different styles of plots. And here you are having some axis. What does we have used axis, right? So x-axis and y-axis. So here you have axis, add axis to the figure, text, add text to the axis, title, set a title to the current axis. What is x label? Set the x label, x-axis label to the current axis. Y label, set the y-axis label to the y-axis. X limit, Y limit, X scale, Y scale, X ticks, Y ticks. Multiple different things were there which we would be seeing in our later classes. Here we just see like this. And another style of a graph can also be done. This is something which I take in common. I won't give any of the label. When you don't have label, the legend also won't be there. But I'm taking the data in another style now. X is equal to I minus 5 for I in range 20 comma 60. Y is equal to I plus 5 for I in range 20 comma 60. So I am considering some values in the range of values and I wanted to plot the figure. If you don't want grid, you can remove grid. There is no grid. So in this way, it gets plotted. So as I say, I minus 5, that means 20 minus 5, 15. The point starts from 15. This is I plus 5, 20 plus 5, 25. 15 comma 25 is the point. So from this point, it keeps on considering the values. So each and every point notation you would be getting when you give the marker. Got it? Got it. See, this is a visualization library wherein which you can customize anything. The lines can be customized, the names can be customized. If you want this graph lines, if you wanted to remove this, these lines can be removed. If you wanted to plot only X and Y axis lines should be there, even that can be done. If you wanted to change the colors of these lines, that also can be done. If you wanted to change the widths of this, that also can be done. If you wanted to change the style of the plot which is inside, even that also can be done. Anything can be done over here. Got it? Any queries? So this is just a kickstart. We will just go deeper into it and look at all the different styles of a graph in tomorrow's class. Okay. See you guys tomorrow. These things to be practiced a lot. Without you having a good practice, you can't remember the functions.